Hello everyone, welcome to my review of Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge is directed by Mel Gibson, starring Andrew Garfield, Sam Worthington, Vince Vaughn, Hugo Weaving, and Theresa Palmer. This film is about a real-life story of Private Desmond Dawes, who is portrayed by Andrew Garfield and was a conscientious objector in World War II, but was a combat medic. And this film revolves around what he did on Okinawa in the early stages of the American involvement in World War II, and how he saved many, many lives. But the most unique thing about Desmond Dawes is, for certain personal reasons, he decided to never pick up a gun and never actually fight in battle. He just wanted to save people. Before I go into the review anymore, I just want to say there will be no plot spoilers in this review. Also, like with most films based on historical events or based on true stories, things are embellished, things are not in fact entirely true. A lot of artistic license are taken and things of that nature, so you really have to go into these films knowing that. But with all that being said, I have to say I do really like this film. This is a film by Mel Gibson, whom I'm sure many of you know for his acting and for his directing history, and probably for his most recent, 10 years ago now, personal problems outside of the film industry. And he's kind of been on the fringe of Hollywood ever since those events took place. First, I want to discuss the positive aspects of this film. I have to say, the second half of this film, or the second hour of this film, is extremely well directed. The action sequences that take place on Hacksaw Ridge, on Okinawa, are phenomenally well done. This is some of the best World War II action scenes we've seen in a film, probably since Saving Private Ryan. I love the way they were edited, they were shot. The film uses a lot of practical effects, a lot of real explosions, real fire, things of that nature. They really got down and dirty with this film, and that's really fascinating considering this film didn't have that high of a budget that most large films have, and they were able to pull off so much great stuff in it, and it really goes to show how skilled a craftsman that Mel Gibson is. And I will also say Andrew Garfield is very, very good in this film. Also, we get good performances from someone like Hugo Weaving, who hasn't really done a lot in the film world recently, but he is a very solid actor. I'm sure many of you remember him as his turn as Elrond in the Lord of the Rings films, as well as the Hobbit films. He was in the Captain America film. Also, Vince Vaughn, who is someone who you see typically in comedy films and is a comedic actor, is more serious in this film and does a fine job as well. It's great to see Sam Worthington back on the big screen in a positive way. He is someone they really tried to sell very hard a few years ago. He was in Terminator Salvation, he was in Avatar. His career's kind of slipped ever since. But when he's in kind of these smaller, more serious roles, I find him to strive in them. It's also a film that delves into a lot of different themes. Not only the warfare theme, but also a lot of personal themes, specifically within the Desmond Dawes character, who, like I said earlier, is a conscientious objector. He's kind of a pacifist. And they do a really good job in the film of establishing why he is the way he is. But now to the negative aspects I had with the film. Despite all the positive aspects I had with the second half of the film, or really the second and third acts of the film, the first act or first half of the film is where I have problems. It feels very obligatory, it feels very Hollywood, it feels very cliched and generic. Everything that's in there, while I found necessary to his character, really were quickly established and kind of just felt necessary. They didn't really feel authentic. Also, one can make the argument that it is possibly preachy from a religion standpoint. You may have to get used to Andrew Garfield's accent in the film. Accents seem to be a tough thing in films to pull off. He pulls it off relatively well. Specifically someone who does not have an American accent naturally, it's really tough to pull off an American Southern accent on top of things. So with all that being said, I'm going to give the film a 3.95 out of 5 stars. Great action sequences, really well directed, good acting relatively throughout the film, but that first half really was the weak point. This has been my review of Hacksaw Ridge, directed by Mel Gibson. If you like this video, please check out my other movie reviews as well as the other videos on my channel.